What's up, traders? Welcome to this week's market analysis, this week's market outlook. We're going to be covering from the 10th of July to the 15th, right, which is Friday. Okay, so we're going to jump right into this, looking at DXY. You guys already know how this market analysis go. I'm going to show you guys our areas that we're looking at for the week, what type of setups we're going to be looking at for the week. Okay, so jumping into DXY. We're seeing this distribution kind of form out here. One thing that I can see about this distribution is that this could turn out to be a reaccumulation based on the things that I'm looking at right now. I can get to it a little bit, but if you want more in detail, right, we explained this in the mentorship. First thing that most of us should notice is that we're not seeing any signs of weakness in this, right? That's the first thing that we're noticing, is we're not seeing that minor sign of weakness that usually plays out early in our distribution that tells us that sellers are actually interested. The reason why is that important is because what this is doing is building liquidity, right? Once we build liquidity underneath these lows, we'll probably see this manipulation, which most of us will think that is the change of character. In some cases, it does become the change of character. The market does continue down, but more cases than not that we have seen, right, just back us in the markets, we see that this minor sign of weakness has not created, or any minor sign of weakness at all, right? Just all of these lows that's over here, we're going to see the market raid that and then continue back to the upside, and that's going to become a reaccumulation. We're already super bullish on this, so it's not crazy that this market could reaccumulate and continue towards the upside. That's basically what we want to see. We want to see more upside price action. That's going to be the most likely side that we're going to get our best trades from. Okay, so going back to this, if we do get this distribution, if this market does give us this distribution and we continue down, we're going to be looking for us to come into this area or into this area right here from the last weeks, okay, after we've seen this huge reaccumulation that occurred right here, correct? So after that, let's say the market does reaccumulate like this, that's going to be another way that we can play the market. That just means that it saves us time waiting for that pullback, okay, because essentially we know how to play DXY once it goes towards the upside, because we know EU is going to most likely go down, but we have to see where DXY wants to go first, whether we're going to give that retracement first and then continue back towards the upside, or we're just going to reaccumulate right here and continue back to the upside. That's important, because if this goes down first, then we're most likely going to see some pullbacks in EU, which is not a bad thing. All right, that's actually a good thing. That gives us more opportunity to get entries. So moving on to EU, as we were just speaking about, you guys can see I have this alert sitting here at this redistribution. So mostly we're going to be looking for sales. Sales where? Well, we have potential sales right here at this redistribution, and then we have potential sales right here at this redistribution higher. So I will say that it does look like this market is going to give us a reversal. Here I'm just seeing this reversal pattern happen. We're seeing this multiple drives to the downside. We see this huge manipulation. So if we do go ahead and just pop up, take out this high right here, most likely than not, this is going to be invalidated, and we're just going to get that move back into here. Okay, I really don't mind if this area gets invalidated, because this area is not as important as this area is. I really want to sell from here. I don't really care about selling from here, but I do have the alert here just in case we do get that opportunity, just in case the market does decide to sell there, right? Because you never know. But most likely than not, I really want to sell from here, because this is where this huge impulsive move started, and this is where we're seeing sellers really get back into the market. Also, this area right here is technically our slingshot that broke through this low right here. So we know that this is a valid area of supply, so that's going to be a huge area to sell from, or to just look for sell opportunities from. Okay, so that's what I'm looking at for EU for the week. We could see that pullback happen, giving us this reversal pattern going up here. If we do see that reversal pattern, then we could potentially trade reversals towards the upside until we get to this area. Just be careful with, you know, trading counter trend, as you guys should know, and don't overcommit when you're trading counter trend. All right, so moving on to GU. GU is pretty simple, right? We have this huge redistribution, and we know we have a distribution and a redistribution inside of here. Remember, I told you guys last week on GU, last Monday, we got this distribution early here. If you didn't catch that distribution, then you had a redistribution, which I told you guys to look out for. After distribution, you're going to see a redistribution, and the market just sold, right? So after selling off, we see this huge leg towards the downside. Now we're getting this retracement. So GU itself has already gave its reversal, right here when we invalidated supply. So we're seeing this reversal already go back towards the upside. So what I really want to see is GU come back into here. Okay, we're going to be looking for sales inside the supply zone. That's pretty much it for GU. If we do not sell from here, then this is going to be our next target to sell from. All right, I don't care. Okay, so moving on to AU, we can see that I have just been following AU towards the downside, right? We see supply, market sales, react off supply, sales, react off supply, sales. So this right here is our latest supply zone, and we're just looking for this market to give us this reaction. First, I'm looking for us to invalidate some lows, right? Invalidate some demand, give us a change of character. After that, maybe we'll see a retracement. We look for an order block, we look for a sponsor candle, and we sell from. Okay, or we look for that distribution to occur, we sell from. Okay, because that's all we've been seeing AU do is just react off supply, sell, react off supply, sell, react off supply, sell. So right here was our latest supply zone, and we've already reacted off of it. Now we could potentially come back up, raid this high, and give it another distribution up here. But if we do not do that and we just continue down, break this low, that's fine. We'll wait for the retracement towards the upside, look for that potential sell opportunity to go lower. All right, pretty simple on AU as well. So moving on to U-Chef. Like we've been talking about for the past couple of weeks, we've been seeing U-Chef just reaccumulate. So what are we going to look for? We're going to look for those continuations towards the upside, right? We're going to look for the market to just reaccumulate again, rating Asian lows, give us that liquidity form right here, rating Asian lows, and give us another reaccumulation. If we do not get another reaccumulation, then we're going to have to wait for the market to come back into these demand zones and give us that confirmation. Okay, those are the two ways we're going to play this. Very simple. U-Chef is bullish on a higher time frame, so there's no reason not to try to buy U-Chef. You can see that we have nothing stopping us here from buying. Okay, the only thing I can see happening is that we get a huge manipulation towards the downside and get a bigger reaccumulation, which I already talked about inside of the mentorship. I already talked that with the other members inside of there, how I thought that could potentially happen. It could happen. We could see a huge manipulation to the downside, come back into here, and overall this will be a bigger reaccumulation. Okay, but potentially that could happen, that could not happen. We'll have to see how the market just goes this week. U-CAD, okay, U-CAD, we have changed order flow again. So U-CAD is bullish right now on a lower time frame structure. We already know this is the low of our lower time frame leg. Order flow was bearish last week, but last week we broke that order flow back to the bullish upside. So now we have two possibilities that we're going to wait for. We're going to wait for U-CAD to give us this move back down here into this last area here, right? We had this last area that was the last little manipulation before we seen this huge impulse. So we could come back inside of here, get that entry down here and continue higher, or potentially we could see a reaccumulation. If we start seeing U-CAD start taking out these highs, then we're probably going to have to try to jump in right here, because most likely than not, if we do start getting that, it's not going to come back down here, right? We're just going to continue higher. So if that does happen, we're going to look for more confirmation just to confirm that that is what U-CAD wants to do before we just jump in, right? We don't want to just jump in. If you want to jump in somewhere, jump in down here, right? If we do see these highs getting broke, okay, we're going to look at that, we're going to point that out, and we're going to look for extra confirmation to say that this actually wants to go higher now. All right, so moving on to CAD Chef. CAD Chef is like the same thing with U-Chef. We're just seeing bullish price action, right? We're seeing bullish price action. I did tell you guys that we had two areas the other week that we could come into. We could come into here, or we could come down into here. You can see that we came all the way down into this last wick over here at the point of interest. After that, the market just boom, reaccumulated and went back towards the upside. We see this huge momentum push. We actually did break order flow as well. So now we have confirmed that buyers are interested in this market. And like the same thing with U-Chef, we don't have any price action stopping us right now. We just have this huge gap. We have this huge imbalance right here. So we can see CAD Chef just continue towards the upside until we get inside this area, or we can just continue higher even past that, right? So as of right now, what I am looking for on CAD Chef is I'm just looking for us to come back and mitigate this candle right here. We had NFP last week. This was the NFP candle. So if we can come back inside this candle, I'll be looking for any reason to buy it. Lower time frame, BOS, change of character, whatever the case may be, accumulation, whatever the market gives inside this area, that's what we're looking for. for a buy opportunity. So the other way that we'll possibly buy this is if we just see that reaccumulation happen. You guys know how these reaccumulation goes. You see Asian price action give us this liquidity. We'll see it raid that liquidity. London manipulation will raid that. Market will continue higher, breaking structure. It's a must that we break structure, right? Once we do that, then we'll look for that entry to continue higher if we get a reaccumulation right here, instead of us coming back down and testing this demand zone. So last but not least, guys, I'm going to cover AUD CAD. AUD CAD has been inside of the supply zone since last week. Now, last week, this was a pain to look at because we're doing all of this ugly price action in here, which you could say looks ugly, but looking back at it now, I can see that we're just creating liquidity so that we can raid liquidity. This looks like a type 2 distribution as well on a higher time frame. So simply what I'm looking for is this right here was the last manipulation towards the upside. You can consider this whole area as the last manipulation towards the upside, right? But you can just get technical and go with this New York manipulation, right? So what I'll be looking for, since we have created a change of character, we had this low, create this high, this low, create this high. So we had this little bullish trend going on inside of this point of interest, but we have just invalidated this low breaking and making a change of character, right? That is what I wanted to see, and it finally happened. So now what we'll be looking for is the market to just give us this push towards the upside, give us a distribution so that we can continue lower, right? I want to see that distribution because personally, I'm not going to be taking a limit order from here. Not as of right now. I'll probably go in during New York tomorrow or during London and see if there's a potential for a limit order inside of here, if the stop loss is small enough. If not, then I'm just going to wait for that lower time frame entry, wait for that distribution, wait for that change of character. You guys know what we look for. Those in the mentorship, you know how we look for our entries and things like that. So if there is a potential sell opportunity in here, I will look for that. If there's a potential limit order, I will put that in. But other than that, I'm just going to be waiting for that lower time frame just to get that better RR. And as you guys know, AUD CAD has been bearish as well. It's been doing the same thing that AUD USD has been doing, creating supply, reacting off of it, creating supply, reacting off of it. So this is their latest supply towards the downside. So honestly, after seeing the change of character, I will be more inclined to take a limit order from here, but I'll just have to see if I can find a good area or a good entry point. If I can't find a good entry point that is reasonable to me with the stop loss, then most likely now I'm just going to wait for that lower time frame, as I said. All right, so that is it for this market outlook, guys. Those are the main markets that I'm looking at. There's other markets, but those are not as clear and precise as these are. So that's going to be it for this week's market outlook, guys. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out. If you have any video recommendations that you want to suggest, let me know, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out, traders.